Well, hello everyone. Jane here from Your Weight Loss. What was that?
I feel like I don't know, it took me off guard. It's like I forgot we were doing a podcast.
Oh wow. Yeah, you were like somewhere else when the little music played there. Hi, Leash.
I'm using every second.
I know you are. It's actually next level. And I just let you be. I'm like, look at her. Look at her with her pen and pencil, pen and paper. What were you writing?
I was writing what we're going to talk about in this podcast.
Oh my God, I love you so much for it because I just show up and then when it gets awkward, that's when she takes over with her little piece of paper that tells us what to do. You know what, you guys? We were like, okay, this podcast comes out on our documentary day. I mean, we can pretend this is not a big day for us, but it really, really is.
I was thinking, is this going to be like our wedding day? Like Choose Happy was like our wedding day. It was better than our wedding day. Is this going to be even better than Choose Happy? I feel like I'll be less nervous.
Absolutely. This was okay. I can't say this was less work. Oh my God, absolutely not. There's just different emotions attached to it, honestly. I'm more proud. Whereas Choose Happy, I'm like excited and nervous because we're hosting people for 2.5 hours,
And Choose Happy is live. So like you need to like show up and like be amazing, like right there and then, you know what I mean? Whereas like the amazingness is ready already.
Yes. Okay. You mean the documentary itself?
Yeah.
We do have 30 minutes to talk with Jordan. Oh, P.S. Did you see my email of?
I did.
Yes. Okay. So honestly, you guys, I think it's just a different project altogether. It's a different type of event for us. So I think our emotions attached to it are different. This one is almost like, because the crowd's going to be different. There's going to be men. There's going to be like,
True.
It's like not the same crowd. And I feel like that makes me feel different. Doesn't make me feel uncomfortable or awkward or whatever. Honestly, knowing that our parents are there, like we said last time, for me, it's like I'm more proud because it's like a piece of thing. Like we did that versus here I am to entertain you.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for people to see it. I'm excited for people to get our message, and it's the aftermath that I'm more nervous about.
Like I want the aftermath of how people perceive the documentary.
You know what? Not even worried about how they perceive it, honestly, because it is so darn clear in the document. Like it is such a good documentary that I'm not even worried about any negativity towards the documentary, or what we're about. Honestly, we did good. Like I truly believe that. For me, it's like it was such a big project, and I want good things out of it. Like I want, that's the thing. I want the impact that we're trying to get. That's what I'm like holding on to. You know what I mean? So like, and I don't have control over that,
We don't. Like if we don't end up on Ellen, we're going to be upset.
I absolutely. I think more like I have a list of what I want.
Do you have an actual list?
I mean, our publicist has my list of demands. And I'm like, can you try to do this? Can more people know about this documentary? Like I feel like if someone can just press play and be like, okay, I'm going to listen to what these girls have to say. They're going to be entertained. They're going to learn some things. They're going to love what we have to say. I truly believe that. It's just getting in the right people's hands. So you sent me an email this morning about film festivals. I think that's an amazing idea. So what I did is I sent it to our publicist. She said that was not her area of expertise. Are you proud of what I just figured out by myself? But that it was definitely a thing. She's like, that is a good idea. Like maybe your producer would know. And then he said that was not his area of expertise.
Shit.
I know. So he said, but I can definitely look into it, and maybe I'll have access to whatever. So I'm just hoping that, if you're listening and you're this area of expertise film festival person, and you're just happening to listen to this podcast, that's how dreams come true. So you send us a DM there, sir or miss.
I feel like probably one of us just needs to fill in the application.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Application.
But I feel like Linda would be so good. She's actually so good with words.
Yes, she is. And that's why you're so good with words.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that's one of my strengths, but she was a writer. Like she did an English degree.
And isn't your brother also a writer?
True, he is.
So and I think you're underestimating yourself. Is that what I want to say when I say that you actually are very good with words and
Thank you.
explain yourself very well, my friend.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, you're welcome. So I think that we need someone to look into this. And at the end of the day, I think that's a good idea. Why not just like throw it out there?
Yeah. So we're going to, she sent me a list of film festivals in Canada.
I freaking love her.
And she sent me, there's a Silver Wave Film Festival. And I think that one is New Brunswick based. How fun would that be?
So fun.
I mean, I would think I would. Canadian Screen Award qualifying, 22 years. Best New Brunswick short film. Ooh.
Oh, it's not short.
There's a lot of words that say short.
Oh, cette valeur.
Outstanding performance by a New Brunswick actress.
Oh, that's us. Absolutely. There must be a documentary section.
Yeah. Well, it's a film festival, right? So anyways, I'm going to have a look here. This would be fun.
This would be so fun. So anyways, if anyone out there is listening and has like some sort of something connected to any type of film festival, you know someone or whatever, please send us a DM. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay.
Another thing I want to ask you about is Jordan. So Jordan Syatt is, I had my first reaction of telling someone that Jordan was going to be our virtual host, and it was like an appropriate reaction.
Oh my God. Tell me everything. Who was it? And what did they say?
It was Tosh.
Okay.
And she clearly knows who Jordan is and knows how big of a deal he is. Because her reaction when I told, because not everyone knows him, you know what I mean? Or knows how big of a deal it is or how awesome he is. So when I told her, she was like, oh, it was everything I needed from that moment.
Okay. This makes me so happy. I completely agree. And people are so excited to see him just virtually, like, because he's a big deal. He's super fun. But yeah, no, it's going to be so great. Okay, so what was your question?
Are we going to tell him what to ask us? Are we going to let him ask us anything? What are you thinking for that?
So we're meeting him on Tuesday. So obviously by the time you guys listen to this would have happened, but we're meeting him on Tuesday night. And I'm hoping to get him the documentary before Tuesday night so that he can watch it. But at the end of the day, he might not have time, like whatever, because it's a 7-hour documentary. So he needs a full day of work. But you know what? We would have watched it and we would know what we want to bring out of the conversation. And I think that what we'll do with our meeting is really like, he's going to need to watch it before he talks to us. So whether it's that night or it's the night before, whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
But I do think that we know what we have in common, like what our core messages are with, like, he definitely understands. And I think that's what you and I need to meet before we meet him and say, what are the core messages that really are so authentic to both of us, like us and him, that we can easily talk about. And we know that we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much anything because we're really on the same page with him. And you guys, if you're just new to us and you're like, who's Jordan Syatt? You need to go listen to the podcast with Jordan Syatt that came out on March 14th, I think.
I feel like good thing I have my notes here. I'm adding that to my day to,
listen to the podcast?
Just re-promote that podcast.
Yeah, that's a good plan. Because it was so amazing. And that conversation is actually a part of the documentary. And when we put that segment together with Jordan Syatt in the documentary, we realized how much we have in common with him. Like how like his language really is like when he speaks, there's not much, if anything, that I would change.
Yeah.
And that is rare. Because when I listen to someone else speak about a certain topic or whatever, there's always a certain, well, maybe you could have said this instead, or, you know, maybe we should be more open to this way of saying it. When he speaks, I'm like, bam, done. I couldn't have said it better.
Let's talk about language, actually, because I was watching some of our older videos, and it is incredible how much we have fine-tuned, adjusted, tweaked, changed our language over the years.
Absolutely. And you know what? Someone reached out to me, a member who was like digging into old videos. And she was like, I just want to say how, she said, even if your language is different, She said the message is the same. Your positivity is there. You know, like your intentions are there. But she said just your words are very different than what they are right now. You now it's very more like just focus on calorie deficit, find your way, figure out your way, watch our videos so that we can help you figure out your way. And she said it just has changed and evolved so much. And I see that as like I'm so as a strength. Like that's how we develop. And I said to her, like, even Alicia and I need to keep working on our, like, we both had work to do. And like, so instead of thinking I'm fixed, your language is, even physically, if you're physically where you want to be, you are never at your best when it comes to, like, you can always improve your thought process, your positivity, your beliefs. Like that always keeps changing because life keeps changing. And when you think about it, life experiences is what makes you you, and what makes you have perceptions and beliefs because of life experiences. And I mean, that never ends, no?
Yes. And, as from a business perspective as well, someone could be like, I'm proud of our growth.
Yeah.
If you had a business model and you're doing things exactly the same way in an industry like this, because also stuff changes, like people learn things, people like prioritize different things. That industry changes. If you're still doing what you're doing here, I think you're stuck. And
absolutely.
And I would never be ashamed that I used to track my calories or that I did keto, or that is a part of my journey. That's a part of what makes me me.
It's a part of what makes the you that you are today. And I think that we cannot be where we are today and speak the way we speak today and have the beliefs we have today without having gone through those limiting beliefs. And also look at what we do. What we do is not tell people what to believe or what not to believe. What we do is tell people that they have limiting beliefs that they need to work out and know about. And we're not saying this one's a limiting belief, but if what we're saying is recognizing that. So someone, yesterday I did a really good live on consistency. Someone asked me, we keep hearing that. So when she said we keep hearing that, it's someone on Instagram. And I don't know if this person's a member or not, but she just said, consistency is this thing that a lot of people talk about. Like, you just have to be consistent. People aren't being consistent, whatever. What is consistency? And I'm like, I love that question. It's a difficult one to answer because like, it's so relative to what consistent looks to you and not. So I said, how about I change that question and make it, how can I recognize that I'm not being consistent? What are the red flags of, it's not, don't question what consistency looks like. You should recognize what it doesn't look like. And I'm like, if you can recognize in your own life when you're not being consistent, that's step one. And then I'm like, not being consistent can look like, because I don't know what consistency looks like to you, but I know what not being consistent looks like or could look like.
Yeah.
So I said 2-3 weeks of motivation, crash. 2-3 weeks of losing weight, you don't lose weight, emotional reaction. And then you sabotage. So when you sabotage, that's you ruining your consistency. Why are you doing that? So if you can recognize when you're not being consistent and go attack the thought process behind you not being consistent, there's more value to that than searching for consistency.
And what you said, because of what we do and how we teach people to change their life, language is the most important piece. Yeah. Because we're not telling you what to eat or what to do. We are working on your relationship with food and the connection. And that was huge in the documentary. The relationship with food and the way we speak about food, that connection is so strong. So we are going to show up with the language that we feel best is best used in the world. And then we're going to facilitate conversations. That's what we do. Yeah. Let's have a conversation about nighttime eating, about weekends, about your body, the scale, and then you go and think about that. That's what we do. We have conversations.
We create awareness. And how can I help you with your limiting beliefs if I've never had any? How can I help you with your relationship with the scale if I don't have a good one? So I needed to have a bad relationship with the scale to create a good one to help you do that. I needed to have limiting beliefs to push through to be able to do that. And I think that that's knowing. We have so much knowing that's why when people join Your Way Weight Loss, they're like, how the heck did you know that this is what I thought and this is what I believed and whatever? I'm like, because I was there. And so we definitely, through the growth of Your Way Weight Loss, we brought people along. We never steered them through, never told people what to eat. We never, that was always a big part. But definitely our limiting beliefs were a part of our growth as well. We had to bring our people with us, and they've seen our growth, and I think that, again, not ashamed of, me, I know, and I call myself out right now. I'm like, remember guys, when I used to say that? Do you remember when I used to think that? Because I know some people listening still think that. Yeah. And I want them to recognize the growth and I said, that thought is not bad. That thought does not make you a bad person. That thought made me maintain my weight. I just want you to know that this new thought, this new belief that I have makes me happier. So I want to share it with you. And then you can choose if you want to change your thoughts or not. At the end of the day, that's what we do. We create awareness. But our people go back to their home, go back to their beliefs, and they choose the changes they want to make. That was good.
So good.
I love
but
it.
We're just creating awareness with people, and then they have those conversations, and then they take that back into their homes and decide what is important to them, what changes that they actually want to make. Yeah. But no, language is just, we're getting pickier and pickier. And I think our language is getting clearer and
louder,
which was the goal of this year, was to be clearer and louder with our message and the way that you speak about food. And I love what you said about your thoughts as well. You said that my thought wasn't bad. It's just as important to not label your thoughts as bad as it is to not label food as bad, because then you start judging yourself.
Yeah. Or your actions as bad.
We need judgment-free awareness.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
that's important. And people, even their food values. People, and you're such an amazing example for this, because you're I am who I am and I'm not judging myself. And I think that's the way you show up in the world is so refreshing for so many people. But sometimes people judge their own food values.
Oh, absolutely. But they don't okay, let's talk about that, because when I see someone saying I know I shouldn't drink wine every night, you know what I mean? I'm like, I think they don't really care because they keep doing it. So clearly just own what you want to do. I know I shouldn't. I know that maybe my neighbors or my friends or society doesn't think I should. So they judge it, but they don't really judge it. They just know that other people are probably judging it. And then it's should I care what other people think? And that's it's very complex, not caring what people think. It's easy to say, but there's internal work there. And so it's not just because there are opinions that should matter to you. But and I love this, I saw this once, and I'm sure tons of people know this saying, but it's do not take someone's opinion. Do not take the opinion of someone that you wouldn't even go for advice for. So if your random person on Facebook that you don't know is calling you out for, feeding your kids processed foods, would you ask this random person for advice or opinions? No, then why are we, but if your mom or your best friend, these are people you would go for their advice. So, but at the end of the day, you're the boss, right? I really like that.
Yeah, you're the boss. So language matters. And I think that's clear in the documentary how important it is, and especially having conversations with the public, having doing the would you eat a donut a day, and interviewing them showed us, first of all, how the range of language that people had. Also, the strength of their opinions sometimes was interesting to me, how strongly they felt about donuts.
Yeah, bad rep. And the reason why this almost triggered this topic, I guess, language has always been important to us. It's right now we're talking to, journalists and on the radio, and we're being interviewed. And I was saying to Alicia, we need to understand that when an interviewer or a journalist talks to us, they're human beings with perceptions, with experience either in the diet industry or not. They either have a penis or they do not. They either like, you get what I mean? They're either man or woman, and that changes what their perception is. It's just what it is. So at the end of the day, like I got interviewed 3 times so far, and all 3, their language is so different. And I caught it. I catch it because I look for it, but I'm like, such an interesting language you have there, you know, like that's what I'm thinking, or what an interesting question, or what an interesting perception. And I think that more and more it's so important. And then you guys, then we speak, we say our truth, but just so you know, like that truth is also perceived differently by different people. And I said that to one girl. She's like, so what do you want everyone to think about the documentary? That was one of her questions. And I said, no matter what, anyone that's going to watch this documentary is going to leave with their own perception. And I have no control over that. And I said that to her. So I hope that it's clearly positive, informative, inspiring, funny. Like these are the things I perceive it to be. But I cannot control what every single person that's going to watch this documentary is going to perceive it as. And it's just not my responsibility either. My responsibility is to keep telling my truth. And so it is difficult, honestly, to be talking with someone that has such a different language, because they're a human being. Even if they're a journalist, like they're a human. They either have kids or they don't, or they have a background. So it's like their questions sometimes are very interesting to me. And then my language is interesting to them. And sometimes they don't understand my language. So their perception of it is weird. And then they just basically show their perception of my language. And I'm like, but that's not what I meant. So, and I was talking to our publicist about it. And she's like, think about like real TV. Like sometimes it's like, that's not what I meant. Like when people watch their show after, like Love is Blind, like they're like, wow, that is not how that happened. And that is a misperception or conception of who I am, you know. I'm following a few of them of Love is Blind. But it's media coverage. They still got a lot of good media coverage. It's whatever, but it's not sometimes perceived as like the real truth. You know, it's the publicist's truth, the journalist's truth. So it's very interesting to be in that, because we've never done this before. We've never been never been interviewed by journalists about what we do. So it's very interesting to see, wow, even they have language, you know? I even asked one of the girls, would you eat a donut a day? She did not answer. I'm like, but would you eat a donut a day? Like, I'm just interested. Like the question makes them feel so uncomfortable. And then see the relationship you have right now with food. Why is it not just a yes or no answer? You know, we have to think. And then like, I said, your pause is because you have emotions attached to that question. Why? Why do you have emotions attached to that question? Because you were told to have emotions attached to that question. Food is an emotional subject, you know? So it's something.
It's emotional. And there's also that aspect of our worth that we associate with how we eat. And so, you know, if we eat donuts, we're bad. We eat junk food, we're unhealthy. You know, that's that worth piece, I think, that's connected as well, which is an emotion, I guess.
Absolutely. And please know that to learn a new language. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I'd love to have a better language. Like if you're recognizing yourself and like, I really need to work on my language or around food, around my body, around the scale, around whatever. Here's the thing. You need to be open to that new language. Like you need to have an open mind and be like, okay, you need to want that. I truly believe that's not just going to happen. Like if I want to learn a new language, like Spanish, like I need to want that. And I need to press play and I need to do some book work and I need to do some homework. And I need to be surrounded by people that maybe have a few Spanish friends so I can practice. Like that is a part of learning a new language. You can't just be like, don't want to learn Spanish. You're never going to learn it. And you're always going to be close to it, you know? So it's like Dana being around French people all the time. She doesn't speak French. There was a point where the minute we would start speaking French, she said she doesn't listen. She didn't want to learn what we were saying. She didn't care about what we were saying. She would just like stop and do her own thing. I would see her grab her phone. I would see her whatever. Whereas now I see her sitting and she's looking and she's like, what is that word? What does that mean? you know? So she questions more. I think it's because she wants to communicate with Noah better. But, you know, like maybe at the beginning, she didn't want to learn a new language. You know, she's like, oh, I don't see the value in it, whatever. Now that she's going to be a part of our family, she's like, oh, they do talk French a lot, you know? So I might start listening to what they have to say.
That would be hard.
Yeah, exactly. But she, you know, she definitely, and there was a time when they were quarantined, like in March, no, way back, 2020, she had an app. She was practicing different things, different words. She's like, well, I have time, you know, might as I have time to do it. It was something that she wanted. But I guess the message is learning a new language is something that you need to want and recognize that is missing in your life, that you're like, I value doing this. And then at the end of the day, like if you don't practice it, if you don't keep listening to it, if you're not consumed, almost a big part of your life is consumed by that language, you will lose it. And the other language is going to get better. You know, like if I wasn't French with you all the time, I'm sure you would have lost more of the French that you've lost right now.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like because like you have me in your life and je parle français, et blah, blah, and then like you practice, but you know, and then your kids. That's another form of you staying connected to that language.
Oh, absolutely. If I didn't live in Moncton, if my kids were not in French immersion, I would have lost like all of it. Like when I first moved back here, I had lost a lot of it.
Yeah.
No, it's a really good example. And you need to be surrounded in a community with other people that are using that language.
And that is what Your Red Weight Loss is. In this documentary, we also have Dr. Adèle Leblanc, who's a family physician and also a Your Red Weight Loss member. And she, like, for her, that was her biggest takeaway of Your Red Weight Loss. She said, I knew I needed to surround myself of different thoughts, different beliefs, because the things that I believed in, the thoughts that I had, were not allowing me to lose the weight and keep it off. She said, I would lose the weight with my thoughts, but I wouldn't keep it off with my thoughts. And it was really good. It was really good.
I actually just read her story. So on our members get an email every day. And on Tuesday, I send out a story of a member that's had success, just like an inspiration. So I had reached out to her not knowing that she was her.
Oh my goodness. Are you serious? Is she coming next week? Or I'm excited to see that it's going to be her.
I can't remember when it's coming it's coming. Anyway, so and then I read her story and then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm connecting that you are you. And it was so beautiful, her story. And I'm like, and she looks so beautiful and she just looks so happy. And I'm like, oh, it was amazing. I was so inspired to listen to her story.
Yeah, her segment in the documentary is really good. It's really inspiring. The way she speaks, the way her language is really good. Janice's segment as well is just, I mean, their language is, I love their language and I'm fussy. I'm fussy about language. That literally my editing role in the documentary was catching the proper language so that everything that was said, I can back up with that is exactly what I wanted it to say, you know? And Paul couldn't do that. Quite interesting, huh? Paul couldn't do that, you guys.
No. Okay, wait. So there's actually a lot of guest appearances in the documentary. Yes. So Jordan Syatt's in it. Adele is in it. Dr. Nadolsky, is that a part in it?
Yes, he is. A great segment, hilarious segment.
Okay. Our kids are in it.
Yeah. Our husbands are in
husbands. Does he take any of the bit where he interviewed them at all?
Yes, a little bit. So it's quite quick. Jeff and Neil, our friends had a longer segment than Jeff and Neil. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just really sweet and nice. And Neil, I think, is like, I'm excited to not go into squirrel missions to Tim Hortons anymore. I love that he said he was like a really good second or third mate, and you were the captain of the ship. Like, it's too much. So it's really cute. It's nice. Yeah. And Jeff talks about my broccoli soup incident, but like it's quick and it's not too much. It's not long.
Everything has to be quick. And our friends, Crystal and Mark and Jillian and Josh, have a little moment as well. Oh my gosh.
Yep, absolutely. No, it's good. And actually, Sylvie Luce is in it as well, and Brigitte Boucher, because they were at my spin class.
Okay.
And they're just like long-time members. It's very short, just like that. They really enjoy our community group and like whatever. So it's like, it's good. It really is good. I wonder if there's anyone else. Jordan Syatt. There's like so many. So it's busy.
I'm remembering now that I don't think we ever asked Paul if he would eat a donut a day.
Oh, yes, we did. And he said he doesn't like donuts. He was like one of those.
Right.
Remember? And we were like, weird.
Weird.
That didn't make the cut.
Okay, did make the cut. Okay.
Didn't make the cut. No. We had to like, I'm telling you, this documentary could have been like 7 hours long of like good stuff, but like we needed to like keep only the like necessary. Like there are so many like poop stories and like us talking and we're just being so funny that I needed to cut, which was really sad, but it is what it is.
I said on Instagram yesterday that if you were watching the documentary, like with your girlfriends, you whatever, a great drinking game would be every time we said the word shit.
Oh my God. It's hilarious.
I actually found a shirt on the internet for Neil, a donut shirt.
Oh my God. Okay.
For the premiere, because I had telling him pick an outfit, but he didn't. But it's supposed to come like May 2nd.
Ooh, okay.
We'll see. Also, like, will it fit? I got him a XXL just in case.
Okay.
So it's risky.
Okay, we'll see. It's risky. Okay, let's talk quickly before we hang up about the dress, the pink dress. So I looked at it. I was going to order it. And then I thought, is it too fancy? And then I thought, is that even a thing? Because I like to be too fancy. I want people to be like, who does she think she is? That's what I want people to say about
No,
me.
it's not too fancy.
It's not too fancy, huh?
No.
Okay, perfect. And like Dana's probably going to go next level.
Of course she is.
Okay, and it's better to be too fancy than not fancy enough. That is my nightmare. Not fancy enough? I'll bet. That's when I'm uncomfortable. Know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like wearing jeans.
Yeah, Alicia, exactly. Mireille once had sent something. She was like going on a date or whatever. She's like, is this too much? I'm like, never too much. You can never be too much. You can be too little, not too much. Know what I mean? Like,
I like that.
I support being too much.
I feel like we maybe had this conversation before the Choose Happy with your outfit, with your tights and your boots and that jacket and your hair. We were like,
yes, exactly.
Too much?
Is it too much?
Am I Beyonce?
Am I though? Oh my God, that one time that I texted you, I'm sure you loved it. We were in Mont Tremblant and I was wearing that red one piece and everyone in Mont Tremblant was like wearing like shorts and a tank top because they were just hiking all day, but I'm like looking like I'm going on a runway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Jeff is like, everyone's looking at you. And I'm like, accomplished, like mission accomplished. If I can walk in a room and everyone looks at me, perfect.
Check. Okay, yeah, that dress is perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, good talk.
Okay.
I'm going to think about it. Okay, everyone. Well, I mean, I'm not sure if when you're listening to this, that buying a ticket is still an option, but keep looking at us. Keep looking at our, because I don't know if you're going to be listening on the Saturday, whatever. But if it's quite early and you're like, oh my God, it's still open, I can buy a virtual ticket or buy a ticket and come see us tonight at the Capitol if you're from around here. Go and find us on Instagram. Clearly, we're going to show you step by step of what's happening that day. And we are entertaining you next level today on the Instagram.
That will be a good day on the internet.
Oh yeah. Good day on the internet, everyone. So even if you just want to like follow us and see what we're about, you need to go and do that today. Okay. I'm excited about my hair. We'll see if it works out.
It's going to work. It's going to work.
You have the vision? Okay, yeah, everyone. Have a great day. Bye, Leash.
Bye.